Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another interesting session in AWS Meetups. My name is Dipali Gulsrest. On behalf of AWS User Group Community, I would like to welcome you all for today's session on Simplified Migration with AWS CloudEndure. This session will be delivered by Tushar Gupta. Tushar is Senior Cloud Consultant at Software One and specialized in cloud migration and strategy. He has more than 10 years of experience in consulting customers across the globe, helping them in their business IT alignment to realize true benefits of cloud with cloud readiness assessment and setting up Cloud Center of Excellence. He also has extensive experience in enterprise data center networking and security and designed various technical architectures to help customers in meeting their strategic business objectives. For later reference, session recording will be available at our YouTube channel. And if you get any questions during the session, please feel free to post them into the comment section. But if you are watching it later and then you get any question, please feel free to post your question even then. We will help you, we will try our best to answer all those questions even later. But for today's live session, Tushar will address all the questions at the end of the session. I request you all to leverage this learning opportunity and make it a productive weekend. Over to you, Tushar.
Thank you. Thank you, Dipali. And I would like to thanks everyone actually who is taking time on weekend actually to join this webinar. Okay, to join this community session. And today, I hope I'll be able to answer your queries related to cloud and your live migration to AWS. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Okay, just Dipali, let me know when you're able to see my screen.
Sure, Tushar. Yeah, we can see now.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. So today's topic of actually event is simplified migration to AWS with Cloud Endure. Okay. As Dipali mentioned, my name is Tushar Gupta, and I'm working as a senior cloud consultant for APAC region with Software One. Today, we are going to discuss about an overview of cloud migration, that why any organization is looking for the cloud. Okay. Why they would like to migrate to the cloud. We also discuss about what are the potential barriers to cloud adoption, which restrict some of the organizations to adopt the cloud, okay, and how we can actually help them to adopt cloud in the right way. Okay, we'll see the main topic, which is today is Cloud Endure. We'll see that how Cloud Endure tool, which is a company owned by AWS now, helps to mitigate cloud migration risk. Okay, and then we'll have a working demonstration of Cloud Endure live migration, and then in the end we'll have a small Q&A session. I'll be taking all of your questions, and we'll be able to answer that. Okay, so let's get started. All right, so before we understand cloud migration, first understand that what are the main business drivers for cloud migration. Okay, why do organizations actually need to migrate to the cloud? First is business agility. Okay, so organizations who are actually new, or who actually requires fast time to market, okay, requires business agility, can definitely leverage the benefits of cloud or migrating their workloads to the cloud, where they can easily spin up their VMs or workloads easily and faster. Okay, one reason could be to migrate to the cloud is data center consolidation. Okay, organizations having multiple data centers running across different regions. Okay, if they would like to consolidate, then the best option is to cloud. Okay, where the cloud like AWS has a global footprint and global servers spread across the world, across different regions. So data center consolidation can be a main business driver for cloud migration as well. Okay, organizations which are looking for innovation and digital transformation, okay, definitely cloud is the best option. Okay, where they don't have to wait for infrastructure to provision for developing their digital transformation initiatives, okay, or taking an innovation uh, initiative in their organization, they can directly leverage all the services which are available in cloud, okay, and they just use it and pay as they go. The main factor which we have seen with the enterprise organization is definitely cost reduction. So the increasing costs with their on-premise data center in either in management or in procurement, okay, so they would like to actually go away with that, and the cost is the best option where they can transform their capex model to purely opex model. In various scenarios where organizations are merging with each other or acquiring other organization, okay, then they can leverage the cloud for that as well, where all the services which are uh, coming from the merging company or being the merged company as well, okay, can be leveraged in the parent company as well, okay, using cloud. And other possible reason could be if they're running some data center in any co-location uh, or any out co-location, okay, and their contract is getting expired, then they can actually look for the migration to the cloud, which is the best option, okay, to leverage all the benefits. Okay, now let's discuss about some of the potential barriers which we have seen in the minds of CIOs while we were discussing that you should adopt to cloud. So first of all is that existing investment. Okay, so most of the CIOs think that they've already invested a lot on their infrastructure. Okay, then why to move to the cloud and how they can actually get an ROI if they migrate to the cloud. Okay, so this could be one of the potential barrier to cloud adoption. Okay, some organization does not have the right skills to manage cloud. Okay, so if they go to the cloud, the biggest concern of any CIO is that how this cloud environment will be managed later by my IT team. I don't have that expertise. Okay, so that can be a valid reason which is a potential barrier to cloud adoption as well. The biggest concern which we are going to discuss today is about the application downtime. Okay, none of the organization which I have seen that they cannot afford a downtime for their business critical applications for long, and they are very much you can say doubtful that if I migrate to the cloud, I have to give a huge application downtime during migration. Okay, and that's where this is the risk actually we are going to mitigate today with the CloudEndure. And most of the organization who is actually exploring cloud as an option, they don't have any vision and strategy for the cloud. Okay, so they don't know whether they're ready for the cloud or not, whether their infrastructure or people or process are compatible with the cloud or not. Okay, so today we are going to discuss one of the main potential barrier to cloud adoption is the application downtime. Before that, let's actually discuss about the common 6 R's of cloud migration. Okay, so whenever we assess any customer's infra, okay, to understand that how these applications or databases which are running in their on-premise data center can be migrated to the cloud, we always come across these 6 R's. Okay, what are these 6 R's? The first R is rehosting. Okay, rehosting is also termed as lift and shift. Okay, as the name suggests, it's just like, yeah, we are just rehost all your infrastructure which is running in your on-premise to cloud. Okay, and that's what we are going to do today with CloudEndure. Another approach is replatforming. So replatforming is also known as lift and reshape. Okay, which is primarily that with some minor changes, okay, in the underlying platform, okay, you can migrate your applications and database to the cloud. Okay, and this is where platform as a service services from cloud, from AWS cloud, be it database or be it application, comes here. Okay, the third option is refactoring. Okay, the refactoring is the most daunting task for organization, where they have to rewrite or decouple all their application code. Okay, and that's those approaches actually comes for those applications which are purely monolithic applications and which are not compatible to the target cloud environment. Okay, and that's where we identify those applications or database that if they need to migrate to the cloud, you need to actually rewrite the entire code. Okay, the fourth option is repurchasing. Repurchasing, also known as replace or drop and shop. So, as the name suggests, we just drop that application or database which is running on premise and go for software as a service option from the vendors. Okay, so that's where the repurchasing approach comes in. Okay, so I'm just giving an example. So, let's say if you need to migrate an ERP or any HRMS solution. Okay, you can go for any particular SaaS-based platform which is available by the vendor, and you don't have to worry about underlying platform, underlying infrastructure. Okay, you just drop that application, decommission all your applications which is running on your on-premise, and you can actually go for SaaS-based service. Okay, and the two R's which are left is basically retain and retire. Okay, it's basically as the name suggests, there are some applications which customer wants, maybe due to compliance reasons or due to any other complexity reasons. Okay, they would like to retain those applications on premise, and those applications or databases will not be moved to the cloud. Okay, and as the name suggests, retire. So some applications will be identified while doing the assessment. We do identify some applications and databases which are purely orphan resources or which are no longer required by organization. Okay, so then we suggest to go to for retirement and decommission of those VMs. Okay, so today the topic um, of cloud and live migration, we are going to focus on rehosting. Okay, so let's talk about the main topic, which is CloudEndure migration tool for live migration of workloads to AWS cloud. Okay, before we start, let's talk about some of the salient features actually which makes this tool different from other tools and other AWS native services of migration. Okay, so the first feature is about the flexibility. The cloud endure is very flexible to migrate from any kind of source which is available on premise, be it VMware, be it Hyper-V, be it physical servers, be it servers which have been converted from physical to virtual. Any kind of environment, cloud endure fits for that, and we can easily migrate those applications or databases to cloud, target AWS cloud using cloud endure. Okay, with that flexibility also it supports a lot of operating system and applications and databases. Okay, so the complete list is available on the cloud and your website or AWS website, we can refer that. But almost all the operating systems which are purely based on x86 systems and mostly the common databases are supported by cloud endure to migrate to AWS cloud. Another feature of cloud endure is reliability. Okay, so it actually works on block level replication. Okay, and this is purely asynchronous and continuous block level replication from source environment to cloud. It works like that. It provides very short cutover time. So when we actually plan for cutover, okay, while planning for a migration window, it has very short cutover time, and we can spin up the instances in target cloud in very minimal time. Okay, and also it is very secure as well. Why? Because the data whatever is being replicated from source environment to the cloud environment, it's all automatically encrypted in transit using AES 256. Okay, and in addition to that, we also have an option to encrypt the data which is stored in the cloud. We can encrypt that data at rest as well. So both options of security is provided by Cloud Endure, where we can encrypt the data in transit as well as at rest. Okay, and the third thing is very convenient for organizations who does not have skill, is that it's very easy, it's very intuitive. It provides a very intuitive GUI. Okay, and we don't require you can say the very hard skill to operate this Cloud Endure. It's very you can say, I mean, we will see in the demo today. It's very easy to operate, and it's just like next, and everything it will be done. Okay, and it actually gives you an option to perform testing of your applications prior to cutover as well. and that's also non-disruptive. So we will not face any downtime while performing testing or cutover. So with that, let's actually discuss about CloudEndure high-level architecture. Okay, so CloudEndure is an agent-based tool. Okay, where we need to install all the agents which we need to migrate to the cloud. So here you can see that there are three types of environment. First is AWS CloudEndure Console. Okay, which is a SaaS-based service which is available directly on cloud. Okay, and we don't actually have to manage it or install it. The second environment is your source data center, where you're running your source VMs or physical servers. Your applications and databases are all there. And this is where you need to install Cloud Endure Agent to work with Cloud Endure Console and to perform the migration. Okay, so this is a second type of environment. The third environment is definitely the AWS cloud, where we are going to migrate the source environment to target AWS cloud. And the one thing to remember here is that Cloud Endure uses a staging area in the target AWS cloud for data replication and migration. Okay, this is a very important area to understand, because people who are familiar with the AWS server migration service, which is also native service of AWS, actually we do not have any staging area in that. So this is where we need to understand that it actually uses a staging area where it replicates all the data from the source data center to the target data center. So let's talk about how does overall, in a nutshell, how does Cloud Endure works, and actually how does it replicates, how does it migrate and replicate the data to the cloud. Okay, so first of all, when we install the agent in the source data center on all the VMs, the agent starts communicating with Cloud Endure Console, okay, using APIs. So it actually builds up the connection over the internet and communicates to directly to Cloud Endure user console. Parallelly, CloudEndure User Console also establishes a connection with the target cloud environment. Okay, that's also based on API, and from there, it actually provides a handshake between the source environment and the target environment. Okay, once that is done, then over different mediums which are provided by, where you can use either VPN or direct connect or over plain internet as well, you're going to start a continuous block level data replication from your source environment to the staging area. Okay, so what happens in Cloud Endure? Cloud Endure in the staging area uses a lightweight replication server. Okay, it creates a replication server automatically and starts replicating all the disks which are attached to your VMs, whether it's a uh, physical disk or whether it's a SAN environment or a NAS environment. All the data is replicated directly to the staging area. Okay, and each disk is mapped to one EBS volume, which is exactly the same size, whatever you're mentioning here as part of source machine. And directly it will be replicated to the EBS volume in the staging area. So you can see that, let's say it's a 100 GB disk or 200 GB disk attached to this particular VM. So similar way, it will be replicated to a same kind of EBS volume, okay, in the staging area. Okay, and you don't need to actually run multiple replication servers in staging area. By default, the ratio which Cloud Endure takes to replicate multiple disks from source environment to target is 1 is to 15. So one replication server correspond to 15 servers disk. Okay, and it's a very lightweight replication server. So Cloud Endure is designed like that, you will not incur much cost while doing the data replication as well. Okay, and after that, once all the replication happens, then you can perform the test, and you can perform the cutover to the target environment as per your requirement, and it will be exactly similar way the one you actually configured in your source environment. So as you can see here, that the replication server is actually replicating data or to your 4 disk, which are actually two from this server, two from this server, and replicating data to 4 disks. And once we perform the test and cutover, okay, it actually creates similar environment which was running in your source environment. And once you are satisfied with everything is working fine in the target environment, then you can shut down your source environment and just start running and in your target cloud. Okay, so let's talk about the network architecture of this CloudEndure. What kind of networking communication it takes, and what firewall port needs to be open to have a proper communication in this. Okay, so as we understand that we have three types of environment here. One is the SaaS environment, which is CloudEndure User Console. The second environment is our source environment, and the third environment is our target AWS environment. Okay, so from the source environment, in order to communicate using to CloudEndure User Console, it communicates over HTTPS 443 port, which is SSL port. Okay, and your servers should have connectivity to this CloudEndure User Console. So if there is any web proxy or any firewall, you need to enable 443 port to CloudEndure User Console URLs for that. Okay, once it is there, yeah, once it is you can say the agent is installed and configured and 443 is allowed, you will see those machines in your CloudEndure User Console as well. So that's the first level of communication which is happening between your source environment and your SaaS environment, CloudEndure User Console. Okay, similar kind of communication, CloudEndure User Console actually communicates with the target environment using 443, which is a SSL port, same. Okay, where the staging area, okay, it communicates to CloudEndure User Console using the same port. Okay, the second most important port which is required for communicating between your source environment directly to your target environment, okay, is port number TCP 1500, which is for continuous data replication. So even, I mean, if you have not enabled this port, the data replication will not happen. Okay, so we need to enable this port between source environment and target environment. Okay, and once it is enabled, you will be able to replicate all your disks which are running in your source environment in your target environment. And once it reaches the continuous data replication state, okay, we'll show it in the demo as well. Okay, then it actually takes I mean stores all the data in the EBS volumes and configuration data in bucket, and then you can actually perform the cutover and testing to the target environment. And once it is launched and you have done your testing, everything is fine, then you can uh, choose to actually shut down your source environment and remove the staging environment if required. Okay, but one thing very important, guys, to understand, which normally people make mistakes, is that once it is cut over, okay, that the data at the state of the data, whichever is stored as per, I mean, if let's say you have made some changes, okay, and it is replicated here, and once you perform the launch of that instance in the target environment, that state will be maintained in the target environment. Okay, even if you are making more changes in your source environment, that will not be reflected in your target environment until you perform another cutover from your staging area to target environment, which will actually overwrite whatever data you have with the right state, with the updated state of data to the target environment. So if let's say if you're done I mean if you would like to continuously making the changes, okay, you need to take a migration downtime where you will ask your environment that please stop making changes in your source environment, because now we are performing a cutover. Okay, and till that time no changes will be done and you will have the up to date state of your data in the target environment. So these are the main thing you need to actually understand while using CloudEndure. Okay, so let's talk about the cloud migration process and what we need to do at every stage of cloud migration process in using CloudEndure. So let's talk about the first stage, which is a pre-migration. Okay, so the pre-migration, we have to make the environment ready. Okay, so as you know that we have three types of environment here, so we have to do a lot on. I mean, not a lot. Sorry, uh, we have to do make some changes in all the three environments for migration to happen. Okay, so the first is on-premise, which is our source environment. So whatever VMs you have identified for rehosting in the target cloud environment, you will install the CloudEndure agent in that, and the ports which we have just mentioned is 443 and 1500. You need to open from your firewall in order to enable data replication and migration. In AWS Cloud, you need to have a Cloud Endure IAM user with the required permissions. This user is actually required to communicate your AWS environment with your Cloud Endure user console. Okay, so that user you need to create. Without that, your Cloud user console will not be able to authenticate in your AWS environment. And then you need to perform the network configuration as per target environment requirements. So if let's say you like to have a particular VPC, or you need to have a proper particular security group for your target environment, so you need to perform that uh, in advance before performing the migration. Okay, and under the CloudEndure user console, definitely you need a CloudEndure account. Okay, and we need to create a project as well for that. So I'm going to show you what does actually project mean in CloudEndure. So these are the two main things actually you need to understand. That first you have to have a CloudEndure account, and then you need to create a project for that. And the two main settings which we have to set in CloudEndure, which is only being set only in CloudEndure user console, is the replication and blueprint settings. Okay, so this replication and the blueprint settings are primarily responsible for your data replication and your target environment. So let's talk about the next phase, which is actual migration, which is workload migration. So here, basically, the two things happen. Okay, data replication and testing and cutover. Okay, so the in the data replication, as we have seen in the architecture as well, that once you enable CloudEndure user agent, okay, and configured with your CloudEndure user console, the data replication automatically starts once if we have all the required ports open. Okay, and the data replication is purely based on the replication settings which you have set up in your CloudEndure user console. Okay, so whatever replication settings you are putting up in your console, and after that you configure your agent to communicate to your CloudEndure user console, then the data replication is going to start. Okay, and data replication actually uh, happens in two stages. Okay, first is initial sync, and the last one is CDP, also known as continuous data production. Initial sync, as the name suggests, that it is initially syncing all your block level data, okay, to the target EBS volumes in the staging area. Okay, so once you enable the CloudEndure agent communicating directly with your CloudEndure console, okay, it starts data replicating, and you will be able to see that machine is initially syncing all the data from your source environment to the target environment, sorry, target staging environment. Okay, and this initial sync will actually continuously happen until you have all the data replicated to your staging area. Okay, and once this data replication is complete, the machine goes into continuous data production mode. Okay, and this is the main stage which you have to achieve while performing any tests or cutover. Okay, so once your machine is in continuous data production, that's where your machine in the staging area is ready to be tested and cut over to the target environment. Okay, so that machine, if it is in the CDP mode now, okay, then you can perform tests and cut over as per your blueprint settings which you have configured in your CloudEndure console. So blueprint settings are basically the settings which will you configure in your CloudEndure is for only for the target environment. Okay, so if you see here, so whatever target VPC subnets or security groups which you will set up here in the target environment will be coming from the blueprint settings which you have configured in the CloudEndure user console. So these two settings are very important. Now the last stage is our post migration. Okay, so as part of best practices of cloud migration, you need to clean up the staging area as well. Otherwise, I mean, only in and if required. Then clean up of your staging area. Otherwise, you will incur a lot of cost because those replication instances will continue to run until you manually terminate those instances. So you clean up your staging area. So you stop terminate your replication instances, and you will, as part of security, best practice of security as well, you will block the which is the ports which are no longer required, like 1500 and 443 from your source environment. Okay, then definitely for optimization, okay, we suggest you to actually continuous monitor your application in the target environment, see if it's still meeting KPIs of your application performance. Okay, and then we can identify opportunities for further optimization in your target environment. Okay, so with that, once you have done with all the stages, you'll be happy to run your workloads in target cloud. Okay, so let's start with the demonstration. Okay, so today I'm going to perform a live migration with CloudEndure. Okay, and with that, I would like to discuss about my demonstration details today. So the migration objective is that we need to migrate an enterprise application to AWS cloud with minimal downtime required. That is a main, that is a very common, you can say, the objective of any organization who are planning to migrate to their application workloads to cloud. Okay, that they want a minimal downtime. They don't want to suffer huge application downtime. So that's where CloudEndure comes to the rescue, and today we are going to see that. The setup which I have configured for this today's demo is that in order to save the time, okay, and because the data replication actually depends on the bandwidth, okay, which is from the source environment to the target cloud. I'm using two instances in two different regions. Okay, so my source environment is running in cloud, in AWS cloud, in the US East region in North Virginia. Okay, and I'm going to migrate that particular EC2 instance, that particular application server, to US West region in North California. With that, let's start off the environment, the demo. So today, let's start with actually the policies and permissions which is required in your AWS cloud. Okay, so this is what I was actually talking about. So in order to communicate your CloudEndure console, okay, to this AWS cloud, you need to have this policy defined in your AWS environment. Until you have these permissions assigned to a particular user which you are going to use for authentication of your AWS cloud, your CloudEndure console will not be able to communicate to this AWS environment. So first of all, you need to create this particular policy, like I have done for I've created a policy for CloudEndure migration. You can give it any name, but this policy needs to be same. Okay, so you need to define this policy in AWS console. Then I create a dummy user, okay, which is CloudEndure demo user, and what I have done that I have assigned these permissions to this particular user. Second thing is the CloudEndure console. So I've already created a CloudEndure console, and guys, this is free. Okay, so this is free of cost, so you don't have to purchase anything. The only cost which comes while using CloudEndure migration is the instance which are running in the staging area. Okay, so till the time the data replication is happening, till the time the data uh, migration is not complete, you will incur the cost of instances which is running in your staging area. Okay, So the first step in the CloudEndure console, once you actually start this is a already created one just to save the time. Okay, but I'm going to show you the initial steps which you need to create, which you need to perform once you logged in into the CloudEndure console. So the first step, as we all know, that we have created a user, okay, and we have assigned a policy which is required for communicating with CloudEndure console. Now this is the CloudEndure console. We need to first create a project. So let's say I'm creating a test demo project here. You can give it any name. Okay, so the first pop-up which you see, that project is not set up. So this is required where we are going to set up everything, like what are the AWS credentials it's going to use for authentication, what are the replication settings it's going to use, what are the blueprint settings it's going to use. Everything it will be done as part of this project setup. So let's start it. Okay, so first of all you need to provide AWS credentials here. Okay, your the user secret access key and access key, you have to provide that. Okay, this is the credentials which CloudEndure user console is going to use for authentication with your target environment. Okay, so in my case it's a purely for source as well as destination environment is purely AWS only, but this is primarily for the target environment if you're migrating your workloads from on premise. Okay, after that, once you have done that, okay, so first of all I have to provide that, so let me provide that. Okay, so this is the same user, guys, which I have shown you with the right permissions for CloudEndure migration. I'm going to save these credentials. Okay, now after entering AWS credentials, it's going to ask me that what replication settings I want. Okay, so guys, this is very important because this is where you're going to set that what is the source and target, what type of environment I want in my staging area. Okay, and how my data is going to replicate. So for my demo, okay, what I have done, that my source environment is see, if any infrastructure which is outside AWS, be it Hyper-V, be it other cloud like Azure or GCP, or if you're running VMware or Hyper-V on-premise, you will select other infrastructure here. Otherwise, you will have all the required options which is supported by CloudEndure. So in my case, it will be US East, North Virginia. This is my source environment. Okay, now I have to select the target. Okay, so in my demo I'm going to select North California. Okay, so this is what I'm going to migrate from my US East to US West. Okay, this can be changed based on your requirement, and you have to see the number of regions supported. Mostly it supports all the regions, but yes, some newer regions you might not see here. Okay, and it is continuously in the developing stage. So guys, if you don't see any particular region in the target or source, maybe in near future you will see, able to see that. Okay, now we need to select the first the replication server instance type. I told you that there is one replication server which is responsible for all the data replication to the staging area. So if you don't select any particular instance, you can select it, you can keep it as default as well. And guys, very important to understand that it uses very small instance. It's I think T3 medium. Okay, T3 small instance, so you don't have to worry about much cost while using this CloudEndure. So this CloudEndure, while it is designed, it has actually kept that in mind, that I'm not going to incur much cost from you while doing the replication. So if you keep it as default as well, that's also fine. Okay, but if let's say you would like to change the replication server instance type, you can do so from here. Okay, now this is the data disk which is going to be used by your application server in the staging area. Okay, if you like to actually change this, and you would like to save the cost, you can go for a slower and low cost standard data disk as well. Okay, but I'm keeping it as a default for you. This is where it is asking for the subnets and all the networking setup required for my staging area. Okay, if you have already configured some particular subnet or particular VPC for your staging area, you can actually choose from here. As of now, I'm not using anything else. I'm using all the default ones, so I'm using the default subnet here. Okay, but you have an option to create first in your source environment. If you, let's say, dedicate a particular VPC for your staging environment, you can actually choose those environment here. Okay, but before that you need to create that VPC in your source environment. I'm not going to change the security group. Okay, but if you'd like to restrict your traffic, okay, and like to use a particular security group, you can change from here. And this is where, guys, I was telling you that CloudEndure also gives you flexibility to use your existing VPN connection or direct connection using private IP for data replication and migration. So you don't have to go via internet only. You can use your existing VPN or direct connect as well. Okay. Since I do not have any VPN or direct connect setup here in my demo, so I'm going to use over the plain internet. And even from the plain internet as well, I'm pretty much sure and secure in my mind that my data is not going in a plain text mode. It's also encrypted using AES 256. Okay, if you'd like to keep some tags to your application server or the EBS volumes which is going to prepare, okay, you can also put the tags here. Okay, like environment staging. Okay, and if you like to restrict your network bandwidth, you can also do that, but we don't do that. Okay, we normally keep it as disabled only, but if your organization has a requirement to change the network bandwidth dedicated for this one, you can actually change it. With that, let's save the replication settings. So now it's showing that project setup is complete. Congratulations, your migration project is set up. Now the next step is actually to install the CloudEndure agent from your source machine. So now everything has been set up over into the CloudEndure console. Now we have to actually go into my source environment machine and install the CloudEndure agent. Okay. So with that, you need to actually refer this page, machines, and there you can easily see that how we can actually add machines to this CloudEndure console for the data replication. Okay, so CloudEndure, every project, it uses a agent installation token which is automatically generated by CloudEndure console, and that's where you can use this token to set up the agent automatically in your source environment. So for Linux environment, we have these commands which is written over there, and for Windows one, we are using a MSI. So in order to save the time, I have already done that for you. Okay, so I have already downloaded this agent and put it in my source environment. So let me actually quickly show you the source environment. So this is where my source environment is. I'm running few EC2 instances, and some applications are running over there. Okay, I'm right now in North Virginia. So far, what I have done so far is that I have created a user with the right permissions for CloudEndure to authenticate with AWS. I have set up my project in CloudEndure. So all my replication settings is done. Everything is done. And now I'm going to set up a CloudEndure agent in my source machine so that machines will show up in my CloudEndure console. Okay, so I've already created this machine. I'm going to use lab number. Okay, so this is okay. So lab number 2. Okay, I'm going to show you the already created project, which is similar like that. And there you can see, and some of the machines are already replicated and they are into the continuous replication. So lab server 2 and 5, which is running over here, 2 and 5 are already actually being the data replicated over here. But I'm going to show you, in order to actually complete the process, I'm going to show you that how we can actually use uh, this agent to continuously replicate to the target environment to the staging area. So I'm going to use lab number 4. Okay, this is my environment, and this is a setup you need to install. As of now, this machine is not replicating any data to your target cloud staging area. Okay, and now we are going to do that. So let's start this. Okay, just double click this one isn't, and guys, don't worry about the space and memory is going to take. It's a very small MSI file, and it approximately takes 250 MB of RAM, and it does not actually interfere with your anything which is running over here. So the services runs in the background, and you will not face any kind of downtime while performing the data replication. Okay, so now it's asking you to enter the CloudEndure installation token. What I'm going to do, I'm going into the CloudEndure console. I'm going into my setup and info, and I'm going to use my installation token. Just copy here, paste it, enter, and now you can see that it's now connecting to the CloudEndure console, and the disk for replication are already identified. It's going to install and download and install the CloudEndure agent into this particular machine. This MSI will install the CloudEndure agent, and once it is done with installation, okay, you will be able to see this machine in the CloudEndure console. So it's not going to take much time. It's very fast. Okay, so once that machine is actually up and running, it will be shown in the initial sync stage. Okay, so this required attention which is showing is here because I've already replicated two of my machines from my source environment, and it's showing me that you need to actually address those one. Okay, address means that you can perform the testing, and you can perform the cutover. Okay, but I'm going to show you the initial stages how this machine is going to add here. Okay, so now you can see here that the source machine is added to the CloudEndure console, and we can actually remove this. You can close this particular window. Okay, now from the source side, you don't have to do anything. Okay, everything is being done via CloudEndure console. Okay, now if I refresh this page, okay, I can see that machine is now in initial sync. Okay, if I can click on that, I can click on machines, and now I can see that this machine, if I go into that particular machine, you can also see that what this stages are happening there. Okay, so it's actually initiating the data replication where it has configured all the required firewall rules. The replication server has also been created in the staging area. Okay, so I'm going to show you the staging area. This is my staging area in the my target environment. As you can see, is North California, and this is the replication server, okay, which is running. And as you can see, guys, if I'm keeping it as a default, it's going to take very smaller instance from AWS, so it's not going to incur very much cost. Okay, but what is doing in the background, that it's actually replicating your machines into my EBS volumes. So as you can see here, I'm going to show you. Okay, so it's going to replicate your VMs. I mean, as of now, it's a Windows VMs which is running by default 30 GB. So it's going to replicate your disk to the target staging area. Okay, this is the job of CloudEndure replication server. Okay, so now you can see that the replication is now started. Okay, normally it takes 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, okay, so I'll just wait for 5 minutes, and then I'll show you that already replicated machine what we can do about it. Okay, so guys, since till the time it's replicated, okay, let's actually discuss about the blueprint settings. We also discussed about this blueprint settings, right, if you remember. So the blueprint settings is basically for your target environment. So the target environment is which North California, and this is the blueprint settings which we need to configure in the CloudEndure console. So as you can see that ETA is 28 minutes. Okay, it's going to replicate everything in the target environment. So the blueprint settings, as you can see that we can select that what kind of machine we want that particular VM, which is running, let's say, 2 core 4 GB memory. Okay, you can put it as a copy source. Copy source means that whatever configuration you have done in your on-premise, it will just copy that source and create a right size instance in your target environment. Okay, launch type on demand or dedicated. Okay, so normally we go with on demand. Subnet, if you have already some target subnet, okay, you can use that. If you have already created some security groups, you can also use that. Okay, if you would like to retain your private IP which is running in your on premise environment, you can also do that. Okay, but it all depends on your VPC as well. So I'm going to create new, okay, according to the source one. Okay, elastic IP, I don't need that. Okay, public IP, yes, I need that. Okay, placement group, IAM role, if there is any, you can change that. Okay, and let's say like to put a tag. Okay, so this is my I would say, let's say this is my migrated environment. Okay, and I'm going to save this blueprint. Okay, as of now this blueprint will not impact anything because you have not cut over this machine to your target environment, but this your machine is being replicated using these replication settings. Okay, so as of now, since this is taking time, so let's focus on the machines which are already replicated. Okay, so as you can see that you have to wait till your machine reaches up to this stage, continuous data replication, and this is where you can see that your target can be launched. Okay, so I'm going to launch one particular server, let's say lab server 02. Before that, I just want to show you that what does it have. So I have created a small page, okay, on this particular server. As you can see here that this particular server is actually running a IIS website, a small website, and is showing that welcome to CloudEndure demo. And this is the homepage on our application server. This is my source environment, which I have not yet migrated to my target environment. Okay, so now I'm going to migrate that. So I have selected my lab server 02. You can do so, or you can just click on it. And now you will perform the launch target machine. Okay, now in here you can see that I have two options. Either I can test this machine before performing the actual cutover, okay, or I can perform directly cutover. So let's say I would like to test this machine, so I just click on test mode. And guys, as you can see that previously launched any machine, okay, will be deleted. So just overrides just to save the cost, guys. This tool is designed like that in order to save cost. Any other previously tested instance will be overridden by this one. Okay, so I'm going to test it first time. As you can see, it is never tested, so there is no instance running in my target environment. So let's click on continue, and you can see the job progress. Okay, and guys, it is very fast. So it's unlike the data replication which is actually using your bandwidth. Okay, from staging area to target environment is very, very fast. So that's the beauty of actually CloudEndure for live migration. So this is my target environment. I will once it is going to start, I will be able to see my target machine in my target environment. I'm sorry, source machine in my target environment. So it's waiting for the latest snapshot, which it has already taken in the staging area. Once that snapshot is found, it's going to start the instance and everything as per my source environment here in the target environment. Okay, now you can see that it's very fast. Now it has started creating a replica of all the configuration which you have mentioned in your blueprint settings. Okay, everything is done. Now the subnet is also created because we have actually mentioned that. Okay, now it's started creating the instance in the target environment. And if I just refresh it, you will see that that instance is coming up in the target environment, North California. Once it is up, we will check whether that particular instance is also running the my application or not. So guys, you can see here, okay, if I go into my source environment, I selected T2 medium, okay, and I did not refer any preferred choice of my instance. I just mentioned that it will copy the source, so that's why it is using T2 medium. Okay, you can see that it's very fast. Now the application instance is running in your target environment. So let's go to the target environment, North California, and see if my application is still running in my target environment or not. This is my source one, which is still running, and this will be my target environment. So initially it is going to take some time because the server is still starting up. Okay, let's wait. Dipali, can you able to see my screen? I think I lost connectivity.
Yes, Tushar, it is visible.
Okay, I think I lost connectivity. I don't know why. All right. Okay. Okay. So this is my target environment. Let me check if it's taking some security groups. Check. Everything is fine. Okay. Okay. Now the server is come up. Okay. Now you can see if I click on demo HTTM, okay, this application is now running in your target environment. You can see the difference in IP. Okay, so this is my California one, and this is my source one, which is North Virginia one. Okay, but this is just the guys, this is just a test mode. Okay, once you are done the testing, you can now perform. You can see here that the status is now test machine launched. You can similarly perform the cutover, and you can similarly see the cutover launch. Okay, so what it's going to do now, it's going to remove this test machine. Okay, and the final machine will be running here. Okay, guys. So you saw that it's very easy. Okay, I mean the main time actually it is going to take is on the replication. So that's why in order to save the time, I did from AWS to AWS. But as I mentioned, that it supports variety of environments like your on-premise VMware, Hyper-V, physical servers, or any other cloud provider as well, like Azure or GCP. If you would like to migrate those servers into your AWS environment, you can do so with easily with the CloudEndure one. So everything is working fine now. Okay, but now it's going to, I mean, this was a test mode. Okay, and it's going to be replaced with the final one. So as you can see, that cutover is happening up. It is first cleaning up my testing area. Okay, so you don't have to worry that I have to manually clean up my testing area. Everything it will be done by CloudEndure. Okay, and then it's going to replace with the final one. So now it's going to start my lab server 2 in my target environment, which is the final one because I performed a cutover launch. So now you can see that test instance has been terminated, and this new instance, okay, is now going to start. And you remember, guys, we performed the tagging. Okay, I think we performed the tagging on the chat one. Okay, no worries. Okay, we don't have to worry about that. Now the target environment is okay. This is my IP. Okay, I'm going to allow some, I'm giving some time so that the machine comes up, and after that, perfect, this machine is very fast. Okay, so now you can see that the cutover is time is actually very low. Okay, and that's what the customer wants, right? So now, yes, so guys, this completes the demo. Okay, this machine is now running in your target environment with this new IP. So all the mappings of this particular application you have to change with this new IP, and everything is working fine from your, just like in your source environment. Now you have a choice to either stop this replication server, okay, and delete your source environment. It's up to you. Okay, but if you still want that, yes, let's see for some time, and this is what we suggest to the customer as well, that let's keep it running for 1 week. Okay, just try using try uh, you can say testing this application from the target environment as well. And if everything works fine as per your defined KPIs, performance KPIs or availability KPIs, then you can go ahead and shut down your source environment. Yes, guys. So yeah, I'm open for questions now. Thank you.
Great,
Thanks,
Tushar.
everyone.
Yeah, I think it was a wonderful experience for everyone who has not witnessed the live migration so far. Really, very insightful session. So yes,
Thank you.
now let's look at the questions. So very first question we have from Utu Khan, that what about the AWS migrate service? Is it
AWS.
different from cloud SMS server migration service? Is it different
Perfect.
from cloud Endure? And
Very actually.
he is also looking for difference between AWS Migration Hub and Cloud Endure.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So this is very important question. Actually, we need to understand. First of all, the basic differences lies with the approach which both tools actually takes. Both tools are now owned by AWS. The Cloud Endure is also an AWS company, and AWS also has a native tool known as SMS, Server Migration Service. The basic difference lies in the approach is like that Cloud Endure is an agent-based tool, and SMS is an agentless one. Okay, and the scenarios in which actually you should go for CloudEndure and you should go for SMS, it purely lies with your source environment. Okay, so if let's say you like to prevent yourself from installing agents on let's say there are many source machines, and you would like to prevent your I mean protect your time in installation of all those agents in your source infrastructure, then you can go with the agentless approach using SMS as well. Okay, but there's a catch, guys. Okay, you need to understand, this is very important to understand. Okay, that SMS works in a different manner, unlike CloudEndure. SMS works on taking a snapshot of your environment, okay, of your source disk, then exporting those as a VHD or VMDK files to your target environment. Then you can create AMIs. It automatically creates AMI in your target environment. Okay, and then you can spin up your instances in the target environment. Okay, but in all this process, okay, the AWS also says that the RPO, okay, recovery point objective, okay, it's basically 1 hour lag. Okay, so there is a 1 hour lag, guys. So whenever you're going to consult with your customer, okay, and if they ask that why are we not using AWS SMS, okay, which is a native service from AWS, then you can say that if your application can afford to have RPO more than 1 hour, then definitely we can go with SMS. Okay, but if let's say you would like to reduce your RPO with let's say 5 minutes or 10 minutes, okay, uh, maximum is 10 minutes. Okay, then you should go with the CloudEndure one, because the it purely works on block level data replication. You don't have to suffer any downtime for that. Okay, and everything is replicated there, and it's an asynchronous replication. So if let's say you're making changes, your replication server is still running in your staging area, so it continuously going to replicate that data into the staging area, and if there is a major change, then you can perform the cutover from that. Okay, now the second question is related to the migration hub. Okay, so the migration hub is a service provided by AWS where you can monitor all your migration activities. Okay, not only migration activities, but also your discovery and assessment activities. So AWS can also, migration hub can also be integrated with your CloudEndure using CloudEndure APIs. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. And once it is connected using API, I'm not connected in my demo, but there's a very simple step which is written in the documentation. You can use their APIs to connect to your migration hub, and whatever migration it is happening here, okay, you can monitor that migration using migration hub app as well. Okay, the another question is asked by Gudu. Blueprint is like CloudFormation template. It's not. Okay, Blueprint is not like CloudFormation template. Okay, it's basically the settings. Okay, CloudFormation templates are primarily used for infrastructure as code, where you're using for your in deployment of your infrastructure using CloudFormation templates. Okay, this is the settings. This is the, you can say, the configuration settings used by CloudEndure to spin up your instances in the target environment. So this is entirely different. It's not like that. Okay. Aviral, you're asking about the policy. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that policy. I'll just quickly show you. So let's say you're going to set up an info, and you're going to AWS credentials. So you can just click on this one. Okay, and it's the policy is already created. Okay, you just copy here, paste it in the AWS console, and create a policy. So you don't have to write the policy, guys. So everything is sorted here. All right. Okay. What is the other question? Yeah, the
Yes, Tushar, I need more clarity, like exactly when you talk about the cutovers. So, is there any possibility for the incremental migrations as well?
increment.
As you mentioned, in case of cutover, it will be actually overwritten. So, if we want to do any incremental migration,
Incremental.
Any such specific?
Okay, so what happens is that your cloud and your replication server, okay, it actually keeps on taking the incremental data which is coming from the source. Okay, and if you think that you are still making changes in your source server, and you like to replicate that in target environment, that cannot be done. Okay, once you perform the cutover, that state is taken to the target environment. Okay, so that's why you need to be very sure you perform the cutover in the time when you're done with all your changes.
Mhm. And if we talk about like real-time scenarios, enterprise applications, so means preferred time slot should be the one when all the batches are over and the application is not in use.
Absolutely,
So it should be
absolutely.
looked for.
So you schedule your migration window as per the customer change management process. Okay, and with all the approvals. But the best thing is that you don't have to worry about long change management time. So the cap, I mean, the change window is very less. So that's the beauty of cloud vendor migration.
Great.
Okay, any further questions?
I don't think we have any other question here. So great. I think thank you so much, Tushar, for your time today. And
Thank you.
it
Thanks,
was
everyone.
really very good experience for me, and I'm sure for everyone who is listening to you. Otherwise, for the people who will later watch this video, so I think
Yeah.
it is very insightful session. And with that, I would like to make one more announcement, guys. That I hope you know that AWS Community Day is coming up, and it is on 16th October. So on 16th October, we will be having very interesting sessions on 16th October, and I'm proud to call out that Tushar is one of the speaker on the 16th October sessions as well. And that day he will be talking on a another very interesting topic. And on 17th of October, we have hands-on workshop. So there will be workshop around containers, machine learning, serverless, and Alexa. So if you guys have not registered for ACT Community Day and workshops yet, please do register. I'm just posting this link here. Please do register using this link. And also, I'm sure many of you have not watched the WIT events videos which happened on 9th September. So these video session recordings is now available at AWS User Group India channel. So you can watch these videos as well. Let me put that link as a comment here as well. All right. I hope you had a very good, rich experience today. And please keep on learning, keep on exploring.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
everyone. Thank you,
And
Tushar.
feel free to connect with me if you still have any questions. I'm available on LinkedIn as well. So I'll provide you all the details here. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Tushar.